Okay, so today's topic is commissions in general. So this is a lot of information, and I would refer you to the AEP debrief that we had done last week, which has in-depth steps for each of these things. But I wanted to call attention to some of the primary features of the commissions. So when we're looking at a lead or a client file, let's just look at the agent experience of actually assigning a record to somebody, and then we'll go into the details of setting things up. Okay, so this person is new to the system and I've just given them a quote. So I'm going to put their lead status to quoted and I save that update. And now I'm going to go into the policies. And if I've discussed a specific policy that they're interested in, we've actually submitted the app, I would go into add policy. I'd assign it a coverage type. So let's say it's Med Advantage. It's either a preliminary quote if you want to do it that way. That's a custom product status, or pending submitted. And then the carrier, let's say it's Aetna. The product is Plan G Plus. I don't know if that's an actual plan for them. Let's say that this is their annual premium. So let's put, unless we've set it up differently, it might be a monthly or an annual, depending on the product setup. And then what's the effective date? So March 1st was the effective date. 1/1/2025 would be their renewal date. And why is this important to track? Well, because if you have any automated workflows against the renewal date, it will go based off of this renewal date. So if you want to be notified 90 days in advance of renewal, this is how you would do it. Well, you'd also have to set up that workflow, but you need to track the renewal date. The app submit date, this is important to track, so that way you could say like, I made this many sales on this day or this week or whatever it is. So let me give that example. The rest of this you might not know until later, but you can add in any product settings. This is product custom fields down here. So if this is like new to Medicare, for example, the commission rate might be different. We'll go into this in a little while about the way you'll set up these products. But so this is the information you would have pretty much for a lead. So whatever that is, we're going to hit save information either at the top or the bottom, and that's now there. But let's say Danielle feature is now approved for that, and she's like, great, I want the policy. I'm going to convert her to a client. So I'm going to convert this lead into a client, and I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to update as soon as it converts, because it takes a few minutes to convert. Or a few moments. One of the reasons why it does is because now the policies will actually have a commission module aspect attached to them. So only clients can get that real commission module. So that's why we need to make sure they're converted. And now we're going to put their status to active. And now the policy status, we also want to update and add in the policy number. So this is now in force, if it is, but the policy number or the customer number. Why is this important? Because this is how the commission reconciliation will work. And we'll cover the commission reconciliation in a moment, but the carrier is either going to provide you with a policy number or a customer number or both. And then that way, when the commission statement comes in, that's how we're matching against it. Because one person might have an Aetna Med Advantage plan and then maybe some supplemental. So maybe if they're on two different plans or ancillary products, right? So if they're on two separate products, you're going to need to track both of those products or both of those policies. That's why we're tracking it against that rather than the person's name, for example. So that's the agent experience. You add in the policy. If they weren't already a client, you'll convert them to a client when the policy is accepted. And then you will add in the details that will help generate all of the commission functionality. Then if I had commission functionality within this one, it would show me what I'm expecting. And then if I had received any commission and imported it via the commission statement, I would see the receipt payments there. So then if you are an admin on the account, you can go into the commission module and import a file. You can select the carrier, and then you're going to look for CT Care example. We'll save and analyze that carrier statement, and we'll see that the client ID mapped to the member number, so that's okay. The client's name is right, the statement date is there, all of that good stuff. So that's the mapping that we have to do. And obviously you had to have set up your carriers and your products in advance of this to even be able to assign these products, obviously. But that being said, we might not have mapped every single carrier that exists. So if your mapping doesn't happen with this preview file and it's just like, well, we don't know. So it says client ID and then there's no blue fields underneath it, which means these fields are going to be mapped. If there are no blue fields, then hit us up on the help app and say, hey, can you map my carrier? Let's call it Acme Insurance. Here's Acme Insurance's header row. So that way we know what their field names are, and we'll map that for you. So that way you can then use the commission module. So just be aware of that. Okay. Assuming that we have the mapping done, we're going to hit start commission import. And then you'll see here that Anthony, with that policy number or customer number, is going to have this commission paid to this agent. And then we can look and see if there's any data that's wrong, right? So maybe if I look here on this row, I can look for more detail and I'll be like, okay, that looks good. But maybe there's an issue with this product. So I can always edit the product directly from that commission statement. So that's really helpful. It can help you clean things up for yourself. Or I can say, I expected to get $15. Why am I getting 200? And I can look at that commission structure and I can be like, oh, it didn't capture my, I didn't hit generate renewals for this year, for example, or I didn't hit, or I didn't calculate in having an advance on that product. So you can then modify those things right there from this commission statement import. But once you're done with that, all of that validation, you can hit save commissions. This add commission button right here, this is if we wanted to manually add an additional one in to say, this person, I don't know, this person has this policy and they got paid $15. I don't know why it was missing on this commission statement, but the carrier confirmed that that was accurate. So whatever. So you can manually add in commissions as well. I don't know when that's going to be the most helpful, but it's available for you. And then you hit save commissions. And I think that manual entry messed things up. I bet I did something wrong there. So let me just hit save commissions here. And now if I go back into one of their files, I remember Anthony C being somebody that had one. Go into their policies. I go into their commission module and I can see what came in and when. So here's that 15 and 200 amount that I imported. And it says that I imported it from a file and I can even cross-reference it. So I can go into that file immediately in this commission module to verify things. Okay, so next up, we're going to look at commission structures. If we go into settings, we can go into the carriers and edit them. We can add in as many carriers as you want. I just want to call attention to some features that some people don't utilize, where you can add in notes, information, contacts, and documents. The documents aspect is really helpful, especially if you need to put in like PPO gold details, right? And then you can select that file. You can make it viewable on the agent access, the lead view client page, the client view page, the email screen. So that way, when that plan is selected for that person, you can then say, for this plan specifically, this file is available. So that way you don't have to look at like every single carrier statement or carrier document that you have in the system. It's only going to show you relevant ones to the selected product. You attach the file, you save it, and then in the left-hand side sidebar, you'll see carrier info. It has all of the details and the files that you've added. And then if I was in a client file and that person had been assigned a policy, let me see, let me go to clients. I'm sure I've got some examples here. Give me a sec. Filters, carrier, Aetna. So if I sent an email to this person, do you see how underneath I can add the following attachments of that Aetna summary of benefits? That's because she has an Aetna plan. And that's why it's giving me that option, just as an example. And then we also will see it in files because I associated it in that lead client view area. Okay. Those are just the basics. Now let's go into the details. So products, this is how we set up products. There is an opportunity for you to just hit import products, and you can add in a CSV file that has a list of all the carrier names and a list of all the product names that are associated with them. You can, duplicates will not be created, so you can just like paste a whole entire list in there, and it's pretty easy. But everything will come through as a flat rate of 0 with no structure at all. So just be aware of that. So if you do have it, so like this is I think an example here of the single family plan flat rate. So if I edit that, I would see that it would come in as monthly, and then a flat rate of 0 with no other structure. I had edited this one, so unfortunately I can't show you that exactly, but that's what it would come in as, is flat rate, monthly, 0, 0 if you do that import products. So let's look at this structure. So this is going to be for Aetna. This is called single or family plan. I can make it inactive if I no longer sell that product or if that product is no longer available. That way it just removes itself from all the choices, but all of the commission history would still get saved. Like it's not going to delete the product from the system. You want to maintain your commission history. Inactive products is a way to do so. It takes it out of the option list, but it still shows it as a historical product. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so now the structure. On the basic plan, which is the primary level plan, and then you have the AMS plan, which has enhanced commission module. I'm going to show first the basic, and then I can show the enhanced options. So here we've got commission paid monthly or yearly or every X months. If it is a product that you get an advance on, you're going to choose monthly. Every 3 months, for example, would be that you get paid on, so if the effective date is 1/1/2024, it would be that you get paid that month, then April 1st, then July 1st, then October 1st, because it's going month to month that way. So every 3 months or monthly, and then you can add in the advance into the actual policy for the client. Okay, then is the renewal paid monthly, yearly, or every X months? Is the commission a flat fee? If so, you're going to put in the annual commission. Even if you say that like the premium is actually paid on a monthly basis, this is asking you for your annual commission. So if I get paid $100 monthly of commission, I would be getting, this would be 100 times 12, if that makes sense. And it says annual here, but I just like to call that out. Okay, then you've also got percentage of premium. So this is if you get 85% of a monthly premium. So this is you saying, is the premium monthly or annual? And then the renewal, maybe you get 35%. If there's a non-commissionable amount, this happens sometimes with either annuities or with like P&C things. So if the first $2,000 you don't get commission on, and the default for that plan is the premium is usually $10,000. that would be excessive, but whatever. If that's what it is, you wouldn't get commission on the first 2,000. Um, you would only get $8,000 of commission if the premium was actually um, at that set of 10,000 for the default. You'll set the actual premium in the client's file, but this is where you're putting in just an average amount for that product. So it can project for you what, if you do sell that product, what potentially you could make from it. So this is more for projections, this default premium. You can leave it as 0 if you want to, and then you can just edit it if you choose to. The other benefit of setting a default premium is sometimes it is set, like you're always going to just get $200 monthly, or sorry, the person will pay a premium of $200 monthly for that product, full stop. There aren't variables. So this helps you to not have one thing to enter in if you need to. Okay. Then that's that aspect of it. Tier years. You can say, so let's say that, put a more reasonable monthly premium, $200 monthly premium. We can prorate the first year. And I believe this is on the basic plan as well. You can switch it to flat commissions. This might just be on the AMS plan. I'll have to double check that. But it's going to default to percentage. And then I believe that both plans have the ability to change it to flat if you wanted. So for the first year, let's say we get 80% of premium. For the next 4 years after that, we would get 35. And for 5 years after that, we get 2%. And then it goes down to 0, for example. Commissionable premiums. This is kind of the reverse of percentage of premium, right? So if the commissionable, if I only get if I only get commission on the first 10,000, for example, and the, let's say this is annual, and the default is 20,000 annual commission, and I get 85% or whatever that is, right? So that's the percentage of premium that's commissionable. So that's how you can work on that. Prorated calendar years, again, annualized commission, and it will prorate it automatically. So if you sign somebody up in April, you'll not have the commission for January, February, March calculated in. Per member, so this is if the per member rate, so let's say it's like $20 annually. So here's that annualized commission. So $20 per month per member. So my annual commission amount on that on one member is $240. On 2 members, it's $480. On 3, it's $720, and so on. So there are other options if you, oh, actually, there are other options even if you're on the basic plan. Applicable regions. This is where anybody can buy the product or only in specific states like Alabama, or can people only in specific counties like Achua, Florida, or whatever I just selected, Anderson, Texas. Like these plans are available there and not in other counties. So you've got a lot of flexibility with that. Let's select anybody. Now, and then we would save the product. If you are on the AMS plan, you also have the ability to split the commissions amongst agents. So we can say the assigned agent is going to get 70% on the commission and 50% on the renewal. And then we can say that the agency will get 30, then 50. Has to equal 100. If I deselect this subject to proration, that can then be in flat amounts. So you could say the assigned agent gets $5 and then nothing, and then the agency gets the rest of it. So whatever, it has to equal something. So yeah, so that's how that would go. And then you would update that split. Okay, then we also have on the AMS plan the ability to do a matrix, and this just helps you to make it go faster and more editable. So if I go into my commission matrices, I can assign it to, let's say it's all MAPD, and I'll put whatever the products are that are included. And it doesn't need to be with the same carrier, because a lot of these MAPD plans will have very similar structures regardless of who the carrier is. So make your life easy if you can. Again, commission paid monthly, maybe yearly. I think it's monthly in that example as well. And then is it a flat fee that you get paid? Is it per member or tier years? Let's do flat fee for the moment. Now, one of the really cool things that you can do is you can add criteria for the effective date. So this rate is for 1/1/2024 through 12/31/2024. Next year, I can add the rest. Or if I wanted to add historical, I could add the historical values. But I also have a custom product field for either other members on policy, like if I wanted to select it for, like, they also have a spouse, this is the different rate if the spouse is on it, or the cell type. This is a very common MAPD need, right? So are they new to Medicare? If so, then the annual commission that you would get for them might be $615 on this product, and the renewal is going to be $315. And then I would add the criteria for, again, the same effective date. Add the criteria for the you got it, custom product field for agent of record change and plan switch, because that criteria is going to be 315 and 315. Now, we can dig even more into this by saying it's not 100% to the agent. I get some money. I'm their agency upline. So we give 80% to the agent and then 30% on renewal. We give to the assigned agents upline 20% and then 70%. And we update that split. So you can do this in a crazy amount of detail, but this is some of like the core logic of having this available to you. So it's a lot of information to take in, but I just wanted to use this featured feature to really show what's possible within the system, how people are kind of utilizing it, and some of the things that people aren't thinking about, like how policy status impacts things, or how you can utilize this commission matrix for things like cell type or riders, like product qualifiers. You can really get creative with that kind of a thing. Any questions? I know that this is a lot of regurgitated information, and we do have deep dives into these topics on the help app, but any specific questions that I can answer? Oh, you're muted, Lily.
No, this is good. I mean, it's letting me see the capabilities. I'm not quite there on the commission yet. Because our agency does a lot of that stuff, but I'll get to that next because I'm still on the basics part of it.
Understood. I would at least dive into, maybe some of the carrier product setups with a flat rate of 0. And then when you're ready for the like the actual commission tracking and stuff,
Right.
then join a client work session and I can help you edit those things. Because the good thing is that you can edit a product. Like, so say you get new rates and you want it to apply to everybody that has that product. Well, the historical information, if you've been tracking it and generating the commissions module and everything for those clients, if you've been tracking their policy accurately, it will show their commission history. That's not going to change, the received payments. But then new renewal amount, when you add in that new renewal year, so like 1/1/2025, if they roll that plan over, or if they don't change it or whatever, you can go in and you set the new renewal date as 1/1/2026, or 1/1/25, and you hit generate renewals, and it will calculate at the current rate.
Okay.
So And the
Okay.
reason why this is
Yeah.
important, and I think a lot of people miss this, is because
Hmm.
remember when we were doing those tier years, if it's a tier year model of like first year I get paid this, then the next four I get paid that, and then years 5 through 10 I get paid 2%. Well, if the system doesn't know what year cycle they're in, it can't calculate that for them. So that's why we need to
Okay.
always know what the if they have renewed and if that renewal amount should be generated for them on that year. So that's kind of a little overview of it, but definitely join a work session and let me help you edit the products when you are ready for that.
Okay.
Great. Wonderful. I'll stop recording.